math class. Welcome to week 3. Let's carry on in our math journal, and I'll get the computer set up in its stand. Oop. And then I hit the thing right away. Okay, so I'm going back to my journal, and today we are going to do a review of line terminology. So we're going to do a review of line terms, which for me is going to be pages 8 and 9, I think. Right? Yep, 8 and 9. So I'm going to flip over to 8 and 9 here. I'm going to write line term top of each page. And then I'm going to, I'll tell you the goal is to review line vocabulary. And I'm going to leave a bit of space because we'll add another goal when we get to our other page. Then I'm going to take some COVID notes. So again, we're living in a weird time. Take some notes about how you're feeling. Give yourself a pat on the back for learning math in this time that's stressful already. Today, I am finding that I don't want to do what I'm supposed to do. I just want to kind of sit around and watch movies, which is not what I need to do. I need to get math class ready. So I'm going to make a note about that to myself. And so you're not going to copy my notes. You're going to come up with your own COVID notes. What I'm supposed to. I want to watch movies and eat junk food. Maybe after I'm done planning for class, right? Maybe after I'm done making the videos. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then take some, what did I call the other thing? Take some other notes to yourself. Like when I say line vocabulary, like what does that make you think? And how do you feel about your knowledge of line vocabulary? So take some notes about that. And then, as usual, too, you want to give yourself a confidence score. So do you feel like you are not, ooh, that was a funny line. You are not confident yet with line vocabulary, or are you feeling like I have totally got this? Which is on a scale of 1 to 10. So kind of give yourself a score there. And then we will get started. I just thought that we would do this to kind of get onto the same page about lines, because we've been graphing a lot of lines, and I just want to make sure that we all know all the words. Ooh, excuse me. That is not a COVID cough. That is I swallowed wrong. I have posted this in Canvas. If you have access to a printer, you can print it out. Otherwise, it should be something that's pretty easy to kind of create in your notebook. If it's too big for your notebook, if you are able to print it out but it's too big, go ahead and figure out a way to like kind of make it smaller. I'm just going to put some glue on the back here so that I can put it into my book like that. So the smallest part of a line is a point. And last week we talked about plotting points on our coordinate plane. And a point is just an exact location. So again, hopefully this is a review for you. A line is made up of many points. And so again, on our coordinate plane, we could see that, right? We had a line, we put arrows on both sides. It continues forever in both directions. It's infinite. And it's also, I'm going to put a note to myself up here. I'm going to call it 1D. It's one-dimensional. And that's because a plane is two-dimensional. So a plane is a two-dimensional figure. So something that doesn't just go like this, it goes this way and this way. And we see these a lot in geometry. For example, this particular picture is a rectangle. We're not going to need this part as much. I just was sort of introducing us to that one-dimensional, two-dimensional kind of difference. Everything we're going to be working with this week in Unit 2 is one-dimensional. And then we have some types of lines. We have parallel lines. Now, I'm going to grab my ruler here because I like to know that my lines look right. Parallel lines are lines that never intersect. Intersect. And then, of course, we have over here intersecting lines, and those are lines that cross each other. Just any way they go. So these guys are kind of opposites. Lines that cross, as opposed to lines that will never cross. They will just go on and on forever, equal distance away from each other. They'll be friends, but they never touch. Perpendicular lines, these are lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. Ooh, that's a good word. We've talked to, you probably, I hit the thing again. You've probably heard about angles before, right? Yeah, let's talk about angles. So 90-degree angles, those are our right angles. You probably saw those in another math class. When you have a right triangle, things like that. A right angle is a 90-degree angle, and it's made up of perpendicular lines. See how those two guys kind of go together? An acute angle this is an angle less than 90 degrees. So it's smaller than this one. So you see how that angle right there is smaller? The opposite of an acute angle is an obtuse angle. Let me see if I can, that's an obtuse angle. So it's an angle larger than 90 degrees. A straight angle looks like this. It's a 180-degree angle. What does this also look like? Oh, look, it also looks like a line. Isn't that amazing? A straight angle is the same thing as a line. And then a reflex angle, this is one that doesn't get much attention. It doesn't get talked about very much. It's just good vocabulary to kind of know about. It's an angle that's greater than 180. So it's like this guy on the outside. And see how it's more than this straight angle? Angle larger than 180. And so angles happen when two rays share an endpoint. So all of these guys happen when two rays share an endpoint. Ooh, well, what's a ray? Well, a ray is a line that starts from a point, and then it carries on in one direction forever. I'm going to make some notes to myself. Starts at a point, goes in one direction forever. And then another thing that we'll encounter too is a thing called a line segment. And it's a part of a line, right? So it's like I've chopped off the arrow parts. Part of a line with two endpoints. So we're going to be talking a lot about lines. In this second part of Unit 2, we're going to be talking a lot about intersecting lines, maybe some perpendicular lines. I can't remember if there's any parallel lines or not, but I know for sure there's going to be intersecting. And it's also good to just sort of remember this right angle thing. Just, to always know that the right angle, it's indicated by the little square symbol. And I just thought it would be good to kind of get us all onto the same page about lines.